about, not to even prelude this dialogue, is like, and I'm sure you talk to your boys about this, is relationships, man. That's like, you can know all the things, man, in the world, but like every industry, everything you do, is about how you treat people. It comes back big time. So it doesn't matter what's on my resume or what's on the LinkedIn. The thing I'm most proud of is just like, I just treat people really well, you know, and it's worked out pretty well for me. So, yeah.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
My name is Felix. What's your name and what do you do for a living?
Sure. My name is Jason Smith. I'm principal of a startup named BetterCo Ventures, where we help mid-market agencies improve their revenue and grow and find new clients.
Interesting. What's it like to be a principal of a startup? What does that really entail?
It entails a lot of egoless work because you're talking about things that might be a little interesting, but maybe unique and different for your customers. And then approaching it with a sense of humility around how you can learn and grow, both for your clients and also for the business that you're trying to develop and make into something that can be impactful for the people around you. Yeah.
Very interesting. What do you do directly with your clients, if I might ask?
Of course, yeah, no. So our core competency sits in two categories. The first is we look at agencies that may have a bunch of disconnected financial systems. We connect those systems and then we give them predictive technology around where to find revenue, where to find profitability, and then how to use their talent to cross-sell and upsell. Make sense? And then secondarily, we have another solution that really focuses on looking at what we call a futures market. Brands and opportunities that no one else is looking for that we think will be just right for them to go out and pitch and hopefully convert into new business.
Okay, I was wondering if you could define what a disconnected system is as well as a futures market, because those are pretty, I'm not really in that world really. And
yeah, no, man. So like, even if I broke it down to layman's terms, imagine this is much more elementary than you were asking, but to make it really simple,
yeah,
I'm big into Legos.
That's the goal.
I'm big into Legos, and imagine if you got a Lego set, all the Legos are just out on the table. No one knows what to do with them. We make the set. We pull all those Legos together and we make it into something that someone can recognize.
Okay, so you're just saying like a lot of like, this is like the disconnected, that you were talking about, just like everything's so, this and there, that you need to kind of create like game plans and, help your clients, which are companies, I'm guessing.
Absolutely.
Figure out what they're going to do with all their work.
That's exactly it.
Wonderful.
Exactly it.
So, I mean, could you say that you're like a fixer in a way that like people like hire you to kind of like understand and grasp what's going wrong in their company?
Well, I would say so because my background is really around what you call agency operations. Mm-hmm. So if you're in the advertising agency category, you have three basic tiers. One would be a holding company. You guys, or you might be familiar with that. It's essentially one entity that owns, operates multiple entities under one umbrella.
Okay.
So think about it as a Meta. Underneath Meta, you got Facebook, and then you got Instagram, and then you got WhatsApp and all the other entities underneath it.
Yeah.
So I've always managed holding companies that have a number of different sub-agencies beneath them, and I help them know and learn how to work together so they can present themselves as Meta, one complete organization, right?
Okay.
And so that's always been a big part of what I've done in my career. And, it's played a big part into why we created what we do. So fixture is a great way of thinking about it, but it's much more around just operational competency, helping people learn and helping organizations learn how to work more efficiently and more consistently.
Wow. I was wondering how you got into like kind of like this agency advertisement work.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, it's almost like, not to reference Meta like what you're talking about, but it's like a very meta line of work because you're like kind of like helping these companies like, look inward, which is something that you'd think a company does by itself. But how do you like, fall into this line of work?
Yeah, so how I fell into this specific aspect of the work is relationships. We talked about that earlier today, right? About the concept of relationships. And I want to be vulnerable with our dialogue. I may not know all the things, but one thing I'm really good at is being able to talk to people, understand their needs, do that with other people around them, and then create a common thread.
Yeah.
And so that starts to translate itself into this type of responsibility, because even if it's not a system, human beings, we still need common connectors, so that when you're talking to your brother, your sister, your friends at school, friends in your neighborhood, you want to have the same language so that you understand each other. So I think just that normal human trait of what I have always been led me into this type of responsibility.
Totally, yeah. You're gonna have to build not only have these relationships with companies, but also have tough conversations and really have to criticize them at times.
Absolutely.
So kind of to shift a little bit, I was wondering if we could talk a little bit about mentorship, your experience with mentorship. Maybe if you could share an anecdote, and I guess what it really means to you to be a good mentor and a good leader.
Great question. So mentorship. May I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How would you define mentorship? And what does mentorship mean to you?
I think mentorship is kind of having a relationship with someone usually older than you. It doesn't really have to be with having someone you look up to, and someone who teaches you maybe whether it's how you want to live, how you want to act, or how you want to work.
Sure.
And I feel like it's something you find everywhere.
Yeah. Fair enough. So under that definition, I agree with you. It's like having someone that represents a place that gives you a growth blueprint, right? Maybe you don't follow it, but at least you have a blueprint of how can I grow? Can I be a better person? Can I be a better professional? Can I be a better athlete? Whatever the thing is, can you have someone in your orbit that helps you get that blueprint? Would that be a fair assessment?
Yeah, totally. Getting your whether it's really big life goals, or small things, just oh, how do I react to this?
Yeah.
Having someone I feel that you could look to and be oh, this is how they would do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Have you had any experiences with mentorship when you were starting out in the advertisement business, or been a mentor at all to anyone under you?
Yeah. It's interesting, because when you become a mentor, you don't know you're becoming a mentor.
No.
You don't really know. You're just doing what you do, And then people start asking you questions, and then they start going, well, how'd you do that?
Yeah.
And then they go, can I get time with you? And then you start picking up I guess what I'm doing, people are watching. So to your question, I don't, even to this day, necessarily consider myself a quote unquote mentor. I just try to be what I would call a sponsor. Just someone that is hey, if you need something, if you need a reference, if you need a perspective on how to go about your business, either watch me, because I try to mentor through my own behavior. If you watch me, you see what I'm doing, follow that. If you believe in it, right? Because I want to live by what I'm telling people. And then if there's a need to have a dialogue around it, then, I'll make space for that. But even for me right now, talking about this in this video, it's still so humbling, right? Because to close out the question on mentorship, the reason I asked you that is, under your definition, I also learn from people that are younger than me and have less experience in certain categories.
Absolutely.
Because there's other stuff that I don't know about. So I always treat mentorship as a two-way street. It's hey, how can we help each other grow? What can we learn from each other? I'm not here to kind of tell you I know everything, but I think if we can have that type of relationship, we can both grow.
I entirely agree. I feel as if almost you're kind of saying it's not such a black and white relationship, because mentors are people this guy could mentor me in something and I don't feel the same way. Maybe we don't align perfectly everywhere else. But,
absolutely. And that's why how I got into it a little bit. I didn't mean to cut you off, but when I was a kid, everyone thinks they're a rebel when they're older. I was probably lame as all hell, but in my mind, I thought I was a rebel, meaning I didn't like to get advice on things. And part of it was because I didn't like people telling me what to do. And I usually didn't think they knew how to do it, to be frank with you, right? So I just always approach mentorship from that perspective is I don't know anything more than you. The only thing I have is just age, life experiences. But I really believe when I was a young person, I had so much more to give. And I always wanted someone to let me share my story, talk about my perspective, talk about what I'm seeing out here. So that's really why I got into it, is to maybe present a different perspective on what mentorship can look like, because I never really fell into the core mentor. And by the way, even to this day, I have people that I have great relationships with that I go to for perspective, but I wouldn't say I have a mentor, which is wild to think.
Would you think you don't have one specific one, or just you kind of don't, see them as mentors, in such a formal manner?
I think I see people in my life as wonderful situational guides. I'll have this situation, I can go to this person to get perspective on that.
Okay.
But I don't behave in a way where I engage with people with that level of trust. And I share that because that's what mentorship is. And that's why I approach it as a two-way dialogue.
Okay.
It's just like a relationship, If you have a relationship and that person doesn't trust you, you're never going to get the full effect. And trust usually comes from mutual respect.
Yeah.
And so while I don't necessarily speak about people as mentors for me and my world, whatever you want to call me, I'm all about mutual respect so that we can establish trust and grow together.
Very nice. I mean, cut me off if I'm wrong, but I'm kind of just picturing that you're saying that like, kind of like this more like correct or like more like traditional version of mentorship like comes from a place of vulnerability where like you're gonna have to have like a very deep trust in whomever it is, and maybe that like doesn't correlate with like your personal experience at all, but I bet it's like it's hard to like find a mentor and like find people who like you can like kind of like fully give your trust and see them give it right back.
Absolutely. And there's a responsibility to that as a mentor. Because look, here's the reality, right? It's like if your dad, your mom, your uncle, whomever it is that's important in your life, if they somehow fail you or you feel like they failed you, that's the biggest heartbreak.
Yeah.
Like that's the one person that I knew would be there for me when I needed them.
Okay.
And as a mentor, even though you didn't sign up for that responsibility, you have to understand that the mentee may perceive you in that capacity.
Yeah, no,
right?
Totally.
And you've got to know that, and you have to want to embrace that type of dynamic. And so that's why I try to be choiceful, and I really try to be responsible about that type of relationship because I understand what it's like to be on the other side.
Yeah, but it can be scary.
Absolutely, man. You got it. You hit it on the head.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I think you brought some really interesting takes into this interview. It was really nice to meet you, Jason.
Yes, sir. You too. Appreciate you, my guy.
Appreciate you as well.
All right. Peace.